on Steelers Talk on a Wednesday. It is the Steelers Talk live show. I just want to thank all the real ones that have tuned in at the beginning of today's live show. Man, we got a bunch of stuff to break down with you guys here, getting you guys ready for Saturday night matchup against the Indianapolis Colts. We got the latest news and rumors. There's been some rumblings about Mike Tomlin being traded to the Washington Commanders. I'm going to let you know what I think about those rumors on today's show. Also, we got a brand new potential Kenny Pickett replacement that we're going to be discussing today. It's somebody that you need to trade for, all right? So we can add that to the list of potential quarterbacks that could be traded to the Steelers this offseason, of course, if the Steelers decide to move off of Kenny Pickett. Also, I'm going to be laying out what the updated Steelers playoff path looks like here from Week 15 onward. The Steelers have 4 games left. I'm going to let you know what their current odds are to make the playoffs this year, and then what they need to do in order to secure their spot and punch their ticket to the AFC playoffs here in 2023. And then also, we got the live mailbag as always. So if you got a Steelers question, you want to vent about something, you have a comment, you have an idea that you want to run by me, this is your chance to get your voice heard on the show. So what you have to do, hashtag Steelers down there in the live chat right now, or super chat to skip the line and put your comment or your question at the top of today's questions and answers period. Mr. Jeffrey Cooperstein, our producer today. How you doing, my friend? He's wearing his Dallas Mavericks blue sweatshirt today.
Yeah, I guess it is Mavericks blue. I didn't really think of it that way, but I'm good. You know, it's a Wednesday, a little early week for the Steelers playing the Saturday afternoon game, so I'm pumped for it.
Yeah, I'm excited. You know, I'm a little bit bummed from the last couple of weeks that the Steelers put together. I mean, that 5-day stretch, losing to the Cardinals, then quick turnaround to Thursday, and then losing to the Patriots, is probably one of the worst 5-day stretches I've ever experienced as a Steelers fan.
I think your post-game show on Sunday said it all. Losing to the 2-10 Cardinals is a fucking joke.
Yeah, just based on the comment section on that instant reaction video, I think I struck a nerve with Steelers Nation, because I got so many people saying, oh, like, you're saying exactly what all of us are feeling right now. I mean, facts. Like, I got so many positive reactions to my absolute trashing of the Pittsburgh Steelers after their loss against the Patriots last week. And I think, you know, it's okay to be upset. You know, I think that I see sometimes on Twitter, like, oh, you guys are being so negative, and oh, like, all these different things. You have to support your team no matter what. But it's like, you know what? If the team isn't right, you have to be able to have the right to be upset about that, because we care about this, all right? We care deeply about our Pittsburgh Steelers. We want to see them succeed. And when they're not succeeding, you got to call it out. You got to call out the problems, and that's what we're going to do right here on Steelers Talk, no matter what. So let me know down there in the comment section, what will the Steelers' final record be when the clock hits 0, Week 18 of the NFL season? Coop, do you have a prediction?
7-6 right now, right?
7-6 right now.
Let's take a look at the remaining schedule here. At the Colts on Saturday, the following Saturday at home versus the Bengals. Then you finish it up with the Seahawks on the road, Ravens on the road.
It's not exactly an easy stretch. And you're probably not going to have Pickett for, at least 2 or 3 games here. So
I'm going to say 9-8, but does that get you in the playoffs?
Maybe. I mean,
don't know.
There's so many. I think if you're at 9-8, it's going to come down to tiebreakers.
Yeah.
It's going to come down to tiebreakers. I really think that if you're going to go 9-8, I think you got to win this week against the Colts, and you got to win against the Bengals. You really want to have those tiebreakers locked up if you are the Pittsburgh Steelers. So if you can win the next 2 weeks with Mitchell Trubisky, I know it's kind of a tall task here, but it seems like you could get to 9 wins, and then I know that Seahawks-Ravens stretch to finish out the season, especially on the road, is going to be tough for the black and gold. But if you can get to 9 wins with 2 games left to go, I mean, if you ask me, do I think the Steelers could win at least one of those games if you win the next 2?
Steelers' dad says they're going to go 7-11. He thinks they're going to lose out, or not 7-11, whatever it is, 7-10.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly possible, Coop. Like, it definitely is, especially if Trubisky is the guy the rest of the way and he plays like he did against the Patriots. We're pretty much going to lose the rest of these games, guys.
SBL says 10-7. Nadia Fox says 9-8. Rashid says 8-8-1. A tie.
A tie.
A tie would be something.
I mean, that would still mean that Mike Tomlin hasn't had a losing season in his career if he gets to 8-1.
All right, Spare Dog.
That'd be the most Mike Tomlin thing of all time. Like
it really would be.
Tying against the Ravens in Week 18 to get to 8-1. That'd be crazy, man. All right, so we got more Steelers content coming your way here. But first, I want to tell you about the sponsor of today's live show, which is Factor Meals. This holiday season, you might be looking for nutritious, convenient meals to keep you energized on jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service, can help you fuel up fast for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle while tackling all of your holiday to-dos without having to do the dishes. Too busy with holiday plans to cook, but want to make sure you're still eating well? With Factor, skip the extra trip to the grocery store and the chopping and the prepping and all the cleaning up and those dreaded dishes while still getting the flavor and nutritional quality that you need. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes. So all you have to do is heat and enjoy. This holiday season, get Factor meals and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Simply choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered straight to your door. They're ready in just 2 minutes with no prep and no mess. Head on over to factormeals.com/SteelersChat50 and use code SteelersChat50 to get 50% off Factor meals today. That's code SteelersChat50 at factormeals.com/SteelersChat50 to get 50% off Factor meals this holiday season. All right, so now there's been some rumors going around here, Coop, and
wild rumors.
And I am going to be addressing them on today's News and Rumors segment, but there's been some rumors going around that Mike Tomlin to the Washington Commanders could be a potential possibility if the Steelers decide to move off of Tomlin. What are your thoughts?
No way that happens.
Coop says no way. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. Would you trade Mike Tomlin for 2 second-round picks?
What did Sean Payton go for? Do you remember? They got a first-round pick, didn't they?
Did they get a first-rounder for him?
I
want to say it was a second-round pick. But so when I look at the Mike Tomlin situation, I see guys like Andrew Filipponi say, oh, we can get a first and a second-round pick for Mike Tomlin.
Denver sent its 2023 first and a 2024 second for Sean Payton.
Oh, my God, man. That's
Mike Tomlin's a better coach than Sean Payton, isn't he?
I wouldn't say that at this point. I'm going with Sean Payton. Sean Payton might be the coach of the year in the National Football League this year.
He might be.
I mean, that Broncos team started out at 1-5.
They gave up 70 points.
They gave up 70 points in one game, and now they lead the league in turnovers, and they're sitting at 7-6. They got the same record as the Steelers right now, which is just incredible, man. That's just incredible what they've been able to do in the second half of the year after starting 1-5. Sean Payton's better than Mike Tomlin at this point, but here's the thing. The Commanders have a top 5 draft spot right now in the first round. There's no way they're giving up a first-round draft pick for Mike Tomlin. There's just no way. I mean, seriously, if you were the Commanders and you had the number 4 overall pick, are you trading that pick for a head coach? No way.
It looks like most of the chat is saying no. Owen saying no. Daniel, no. DJ KJ says yes.
I see Rig Steele saying hell yeah.
If you were offered 2 first-round picks for Mike Tomlin, are you doing it?
2 firsts?
2 seconds, excuse me.
2 seconds? You know what, Coop? I'm going to answer this during our News and Rumors segment today.
That's what they call a tease in the biz.
Going to let you guys know here in about a couple of minutes here. But first, we got the Super Chat menu today, so if you want to send in a Super Chat, we'll go crazy for you guys. We really do appreciate everybody that donates to the channel here. Every single dollar that we make that you guys send in, it goes into giving you guys more Steelers content for free here on the channel. So we really do appreciate it. $5 we'll do a Here We Go Steelers chant. $10 we'll do some shots. $20 we'll do the hard hat. We'll put your name on the Hard Hat Hall of Fame, and then a $100 Super Chat gets you into Steelers Talk Gold Club. You get a Gold Club sticker every time you Super Chat for life, and you also get a shout-out on every single Steelers live show and watch party. So here's today's shout-outs. Shout-out to Austin, Mo Love, Brian Love, Anthony Fuller, Nathan Glass James, DJ V, Patty, Elliptic 6, Alexander, Zach, Troy, Andrew, Jesse, Go Blue, Buckeye, Jesper, Jacob, Nightmare Sporting, XD, DJ, KJ, Chad,
I love
F1 Video Watcher, Steelers Dad, K, Drizzy, Andrew, Did you skip one?
No, I think you skipped them.
Did I skip
You
one?
were skipping around.
I guess I'm skipping here, guys.
Sperry in the chat.
Apologies if I missed your name here, but also big shout out to Gwendolyn, Latanya, and Etheria, our latest Gold Club members. You could be the latest today with a $100 super chat, or it can be a bunch of different super chats. You could put in a bevy of 20s. You could put in a bunch of 10s, just as long as you get to $100 total on a single stream, and you become a Steelers Talk legend for life. And then we got the Black Diamonds here. These are the people that have put in $500 or more on a singular stream. They got their very own unique super chat stickers. They got their very own retired numbers on jerseys that we wear during our watch party. So big shout out to Sam Pugh, F1 Video Watcher, Nathan Glass, Go Blue Buckeye, Elliptic 6, and Gwendolyn for being the best of the best here, the true crazy ones, the legends here at Steelers Talk. Now, we're going to get to our first segment here in just a couple of minutes, Coop. But first, do me a favor. Help us out here with the algorithm and click that thumbs up icon.
We got 105 people watching and only 26 likes. Those are rookie numbers in this racket. We need to get that up right now. Can we get to 40 likes?
Let's get to 40 likes here. Let's get that little bit of a spike going. We want to get as many sets of eyeballs on this show as possible. So help us out right now.
We want YouTube to put this in the freaking jet stream. What you sipping on over there?
I just got water.
Little H2O.
Just got a little high quality H2O
you had a
over
Dr.
here.
Pep earlier
If you
today.
send in a $10 super chat, I'll suck down some lemon juice for you guys.
Yo.
Yo. Oh, man, this is going to be fun. Make sure you guys get down there. Hashtag Steelers or super chat with your questions, your comments, your ideas.
Come in, so please keep doing so.
Keep getting those questions in there for our mailbag today. Really do appreciate all of you guys. Coming up here in about 30 seconds, we got the latest news and rumors. We got a new Kenny Pickett potential replacement today that we're going to be discussing. We're going to be comparing Kenny Pickett to Justin Fields. We're going to be talking about the latest Mike Tomlin trade rumors. And then also I got the updated Steelers playoff path I'm going to be breaking down with you guys, letting you guys know exactly what the Steelers need to do to make the 2023 postseason. And again, make sure you use hashtag Steelers or Super Chat to get your questions on today's show. Coming up in about 30 minutes is that Steelers Talk live mailbag. So if you want to get your voice heard on this show, this is your chance, guys. We only do one of these live shows per week. If you want to have your voice heard on the show this week, make sure you use hashtag Steelers or Super Chat. Cooper, are we ready to get things going?
We are. I just wanted to shout out Nothing and he said, bro said that way too naturally.
What is he referring to? The suck down the lemon juice? Yeah.
I'm dead.
Nothing. Appreciate you, my friend.
We'll clip it later.
Nothing. You're always here, man. I see Lil Slush in here. I want to give a shout out to him, Young Noticeable. All these guys that are regular viewers here on the Steelers Talk live show. We just got the 50 likes, man. Let's freaking ride. Let's get into this first segment. The latest news and rumors surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Ready, break.
Could the Pittsburgh Steelers send head coach Mike Tomlin to the nation's capital via a trade this offseason? I'm going to let you guys know the latest Mike Tomlin trade rumors on today's edition of Steelers Talk. Then also, we're going to be discussing about the possibility of potentially trading for Sam Howell and hiring Eric Bieniemy as the next offensive coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then we're going to be debating here. We're going to hash it out. Who's better, Kenny Pickett or Justin Fields? We'll be comparing their stats and their skill sets at the end of today's show, so make sure you guys stick around. But before we get into today's loaded edition of Steelers Talk, do me a favor, join our family, click that subscribe button right now, because when the Steelers make big moves this offseason, when they hire a new offensive coordinator, if they trade Mike Tomlin, if they get a new quarterback, we're going to have you covered with breaking news coverage every time the Steelers make a move. Also, we're going to have NFL free agency and NFL draft coverage for you guys, in depth, breaking down who the Steelers are targeting for you guys just about every single day here on the channel. And then we got 2 weekly live shows. We got one on Wednesdays and then one for the watch parties for every single Steelers game. We got the largest watch parties on YouTube. And oh yeah, it's all 100% free. So if you want to join the most comprehensive Steelers community here on YouTube, 100% free of charge, click that subscribe button right now. So could Mike Tomlin be on his way to Washington? Jay Glazer of Fox Sports, who is known around the league as the person or the reporter that is closest to Mike Tomlin, suggests that the Washington Commanders should give the Steelers a call regarding Mike Tomlin's availability to see if they can land him via trade. This is what Jay Glazer had to say about Tomlin's availability. I'm telling you, if Mike Tomlin was available, teams would be lining up. Even if he's not available yet, teams should be calling to try to trade for Mike Tomlin. Hey, Washington, he's from Virginia. Perfect. I'm at least giving it a shot. I'm trying for it. You got to swing away for a guy like that if he's on the hot seat. Now, personally, I respect Jay, and there's a reason why he's singled out Washington there, but I seriously doubt that this happens. In our Mike Tomlin's replacement video earlier this week, I already laid out why it's unlikely that the Steelers will actually fire or part ways with Mike Tomlin. I just think it makes more sense to keep him, pair him with the new offensive coordinator, and see where things go into the future because this Steelers roster is still ready to win now, and if you get a new head coach, you essentially have to start over, and you're essentially wasting another year of T.J. Watt, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Cam Hayward's prime here, whereas if you keep Mike Tomlin and you get the right OC, you could be back in business as soon as next year. Now the kind of compensation that's being thrown around right now for Mike Tomlin is 2 second-round draft picks in exchange for Tomlin's services. I see guys like Andrew Filipponi throw out, the Commanders are going to give up a first-round draft pick for him. That's just not going to happen, okay? The Commanders have a top 5 draft pick as it stands right now. I just think that there's no way in hell the Commanders give up that high of a draft pick for a head coach. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. Would you accept this trade if you are the Steelers GM, Omar Khan, and owner Art Rooney? Type A for accept or D for decline. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So when you get a second here, YouTube's going to throw you an ad break. When that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. Now, if they decide to part ways with Mike Tomlin, I really don't think that that's going to be the case. Somebody that could be in line to be head coach is Eric Bieniemy, but even if they keep Mike Tomlin here, I think Bieniemy should be at the top of the Steelers list in terms of potential offensive coordinator candidates here for the 2024 season. I am a big fan of Eric Bieniemy and his offense. I think he's got that hard-nosed approach to coaching that Mike Tomlin really does appreciate here. It really does fit the Pittsburgh Steelers culture here of kind of old school coaching, get on guys' asses, hold people accountable, all these different things. It's also that unlikely that Bieniemy is going to be hired as the Washington Commanders head coach after they fire Ron Rivera this year. I think that if they believed in Eric Bieniemy and they wanted him to be their head coach, they would have already fired Rivera and they would be trying out Eric Bieniemy over these last several weeks to see if he has it. But because they're not giving him that opportunity, it seems likely that Bieniemy will be a free agent. And I don't think he's going to go back to Kansas City because right now they have Matt Nagy as their offensive coordinator, and I don't really see Nagy getting any sort of head coaching jobs or anything like that will take him out of that position. So I don't think Kansas City in a return to Coach Patrick Mahomes is really in the cards for Bieniemy either. Now, what does the Eric Bieniemy offense kind of look like? So there's some core tenets here based on everything that I've seen on film from the Washington Commanders offense this year and then also watching the Chiefs in years past. Number one is that it's very shotgun heavy. They don't really go under center a whole lot. They like to do RPOs. They like to do all these different things from shotgun. So if you watch the Chiefs, you watch the Commanders, you watch these Andy Reid style offenses, most of the time they are in shotgun, so keep that in mind. Also, lots of 4-by-1 formations. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean 4 eligible receivers to one side of the formation. So usually two wide receivers, a tight end, and maybe a running back, all on one side of the field, and then you'll have one singular receiver on one other side of the field. So this is something that's relatively new. It's a modern concept in the National Football League, and really Eric Bieniemy was at the forefront of that when the Kansas City Chiefs started to do it just a couple of seasons ago. It really messes with the coverage rules of modern NFL defenses, and it's something that's definitely garnered a lot of success with Eric Bieniemy as an offensive play caller. Another thing that I really like about this offense is that it's tight end friendly, and I really like Pat Freiermuth as a receiving tight end. I think Freiermuth in an Eric Bieniemy offense would be absolutely stellar. No, he's no Travis Kelce, right? But I definitely think that Freiermuth can be is definitely good enough as a receiver to play the Travis Kelce role in Eric Bieniemy's offense. Right now in Washington, haven't really been able to do a lot of the fun tight end stuff because they don't really have a good receiving tight end. But if Bieniemy comes to Pittsburgh and matches up with Pat Freiermuth, I think they could have a lot of fun in terms of the concepts that they could run here. Also, it's a progression-style passing attack on offense. So the quarterback from shotgun is expected to go 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way across the field. So you need a quarterback to run this system that can process information quickly and get through a full field progression read. It's not necessarily easy mentally on the quarterback, at least post-snap. And then finally, short passes are really the thing that they like to do to set up those big gains. If you look at Patrick Mahomes in his MVP season going back to 2022, Pat Mahomes was, the average air yards per attempt was among the lowest in the National Football League, yet he was tops in the league in yards per game. How could that happen? That means that they're scheming things open close to the line of scrimmage for guys to get yards after the catch. So Eric Bieniemy, really, really good at creating opportunities for guys in space. And now coming up here, I'm going to be talking about his current quarterback in Washington. And if you get Eric Bieniemy as the next offensive coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers, could it make sense to bring in Sam Howell to be the next quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers? I'm going to discuss that possibility here in just 1 second. But first, I want to have a word from our sponsor here at Factor Meals. This holiday season, you might be looking for nutritious, convenient meals to keep you energized on jam-packed days. Factor Meals, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service, can help you fuel up fast for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle while tackling all of your holiday to-dos. This holiday season, get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Simply choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered straight to your door. And what I love about Factor is that they're ready in just 2 minutes with no prep, no mess. You don't have to worry about doing dishes at the end of the day, which is definitely awesome. Head on over to factormeals.com/SteelersChat50 and use code SteelersChat50 to get 50% off Factor Meals today. That's code SteelersChat50 at factormeals.com/SteelersChat50 to get 50% off Factor Meals this holiday season. So now let's talk a little bit about Sam Howell here, somebody that I've really been impressed with this season for the Washington Commanders. And if the Steelers decide to bring in Eric Bieniemy, I definitely think that Sam Howell could be an interesting option for the Steelers to consider, especially if they can get a good deal for him on the trade market. Now, my scouting report on Sam Howell, the pros in his game, he's a really good drop-back passer, man. He can go back there and he can make those full field progressions. He can get through his reads quickly. He's also he's a plus runner. We'll go over his ability as a rusher here in just a second, but he's got really, really good arm strength. He can throw it 60, 70 yards on a dot, and he's also got some really great arc on his deep ball, and the accuracy on those deep passes is excellent. Now the cons to his game, the mental clock issues here. He holds on to the ball for maybe a little bit too long. The decision making, he can get a little bit too aggressive at times. You can see that with the 14 interception number there, and then the footwork can get sloppy at times. He's still developing, but I do think he's a decent NFL starter right now with the potential to be a franchise quarterback in this league for years to come. His stats this year, 65.8% completions, 18 touchdowns. He's throwing the ball when defenses know that he has to throw, and that's something that Kenny Pickett has not been able to do throughout his time in the National Football League. I think Howell's got a ton of experience, still developing a bit, but I definitely think that he's exciting. And then another exciting part about his game is not just his ability as a passer, but also as a rusher. As we stand here today, when it comes to the quarterback position, Sam Howell is currently the most valuable rusher of the football at the quarterback position of any quarterback in the National Football League with 23.2 points above replacement. I think that this kid's rushing ability gets severely underrated. He's one of the best rushing quarterbacks in the league right now. If the Steelers get him, not only do you get a guy that can bomb the ball down the field, but somebody that's an athlete and can pick up yards and points with his legs. I like to compare his skill set to somebody like Jalen Hurts. They're pretty much exactly the same height and weight. They both have great deep balls, great arc on their deep balls. They both had issues coming out of college, but they're starting to develop into legitimate starters. Of course, Hurts is on a different level than Howell right now. Hurts is definitely already there, whereas Howell is still developing. But I could certainly see Howell becoming a Jalen Hurts type player as he continues to develop in this league. You look at the first-year stats of both of these gentlemen, their first year starting, and you can see that Howell is competitive with Jalen Hurts' stats here. A higher completion percentage, more yards per game. He's got 3 less total touchdowns and more interceptions and a lower overall value, points above replacement. But also keep in mind that Howell is behind one of the worst offensive lines in the history of the National Football League and a defense that's constantly forcing him to play from a deficit. So keep that in mind here. I think Howell is at a really impressive first year as a starter, especially with all the adversity that he's facing there in Washington. And right now, I definitely think Sam Howell is a much better quarterback than Kenny Pickett. And you can see that in the stat comparison here just in 2023 between these two quarterbacks. Man, a higher completion percentage. It's not even close. More yards per game. Howell currently ranks 6th in passing yards per game in this league right now. The total touchdowns is a freaking joke. I mean, you look at that. It's almost 3 times. It's over 3 times the amount Kenny Pickett has. But you also look at the interceptions. Howell definitely being over-aggressive at times this year, has way more interceptions. And then the overall points above replacement here. Kenny Pickett's, that's not the correct number there. Kenny Pickett's is actually 4. All right? It's 4 points above replacement. Not 72.5. It's 4. So Sam Howell is way, way, way more valuable than Kenny Pickett. Sorry for the mix-up on the graphic right there. So in order to get Sam Howell this year, I think that what it's going to take is the Commanders need to want to move off of him. I think they're going to want to have to get a quarterback in the first round. And if that's the case, then you have leverage to potentially get this guy for just a third-round pick. You're looking at potentially getting a franchise quarterback here with a guy like Eric Bieniemy as his offensive coordinator for just a third-round pick. So I'm not necessarily saying the Steelers have to do this or that they should do this. I just think it's an interesting possibility to think about here because I'm really impressed with Sam Howell, and I think he's got the Pittsburgh kind of mentality that you look for here, and I definitely think he'd be something really nice here in Pittsburgh. Make sure you click that thumbs up icon for me real quick here before we get to the end of today's show. We still got one more thing to discuss here, and while we're talking about potential Kenny Pickett replacements, let's talk about Justin Fields, because what I'm seeing a lot on Steelers Twitter right now is that Justin Fields is nowhere close to where Kenny Pickett is as a quarterback right now, and I look at the numbers between these two quarterbacks, and I just don't understand how people can actually come to that conclusion. Right now, Justin Fields has a higher completion percentage than Kenny Pickett, even though he's throwing the ball, air yards per attempt, almost a yard more than Pickett per attempt. Okay, so that's kind of crazy that Justin Fields is throwing the ball down the field more than Pickett, yet he still has a higher completion percentage. So total touchdowns is more than double in less games played this year. The interceptions is a little bit higher, but Kenny Pickett is actually doing a really, really good job in that category. And here we go. We got that points above replacement number correct this time. Kenny Pickett is only worth 4 points this season, whereas Justin Fields has been worth 15. Okay, so and then you look at the rushing ability. This year it hasn't been quite as good for Justin Fields, but last year, you just look at last year, when it comes to rushing the football, there was no player, not even a running back in the National Football League that was worth more as a rusher than Justin Fields. Last year and last year alone, he was worth 47.9, almost 48 points above replacement last year. That's more than Josh Jacobs. That's more than any rushing running back that you can name. Justin Fields is an elite rusher of the football, and if you can put that type of number up year in and year out, you're looking at a seriously dynamic threat to your offense that could completely change the fortunes of your franchise. So we've talked about Kenny Pickett, we've talked about Sam Howell, and we've talked about Justin Fields. Which one is the best quarterback, overall? Is it Kenny Pickett? Type KP. If you think it's Sam Howell, type SH. Or if you think Justin Fields is the best of the three, type JF down there in the comments section. All right, that'll be it for today's show, guys. Really do appreciate every single one of you guys, all the real ones that made it to the end of today's show. Make sure you click that subscribe button for more in-depth Steelers coverage throughout the 2023 season and throughout the 2024 offseason. All right, so that's the first seg in the book. Coop, what'd you think about that? I had a lot of fun going over that,
Yeah, that was a good
scripting
segment.
that segment, going over the numbers. And, if you want to actually put up the Sam Howell, Kenny Pickett stat comparison again, but make sure to fix
I'll
the
fix
Kenny
it.
Pickett one, the points above replacement.
4.0, right?
It's 4.0. I mean, you look at the numbers between Sam Howell and Kenny Pickett this year, and it is staggering. All right, it is staggering how much better Sam Howell has been this season. And remember, it's not like Sam Howell has this awesome, supporting cast around him. Now, he's got some decent receivers. Terry McLaurin's good, but he's had an off year this year. Jahan Dotson's pretty good as well. Curtis Samuel is no joke either. But he's working with arguably the worst offensive line in football. He's constantly under pressure, and that Commanders defense, which currently ranks dead last in scoring defense, is constantly putting Sam in a position where he has to throw the football, and he's still been pretty darn effective for the Washington Commanders, all right? And it's just his first year as a starter, whereas Kenny Pickett is in his second year as a starter, or, whatever you want to call it, it's his first full season. But Sam Howell is blowing him out of the water. Now, I know what people are going to say, right? Oh, if Sam Howell was in Matt Canada's offense, he'd be just as bad, if not worse, than Kenny Pickett. And I'm really not sure if that's the case. Sam Howell has better downfield vision. He's got better downfield accuracy. He's got better pocket presence. He's a better rusher of the football. It's hard for me to think of things that Sam Howell isn't better than Kenny Pickett at right now. And I think if the Steelers were able to get him for like a third-round pick, like if the Commanders go out and get like Jaden Daniels or Michael Penix, number 4 overall, or even trade up for like a Caleb Williams, you could get this guy for a third-round pick, and he could be ready to go, especially with Eric Bieniemy as an offensive coordinator on day one.
Call me crazy. I think Justin Fields is the best of the three. I think the chat kind of agrees as well. I see Derek and Steelers' dad and DJ KJ, Lil Slush, all saying Justin Fields. CM Punk says Sam Howell, as does Grant Hale. I just love Justin Fields' athleticism more than the other two, and I think the upside with Justin Fields is the highest. Is he the best quarterback at this very second? You maybe lean Sam Howell, but I think Fields would provide this offense a whole new dynamic that they just don't have right now.
I mean, when I watched Justin Fields last week for the Chicago Bears against the Detroit Lions, and he was running away from defensive backs, and he wasn't even trying, man. He was just like gliding.
Effortless.
Like, it was effortless for Justin Fields. Like, his ability as a rusher is unmatched. The value that he can bring as a rushing threat. I mean, if he just gets minimally better as a passer, and he hasn't really been that terrible as a passer this year either, like, he could be something that completely changes the fortunes of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kenny Pickett, I understand the reasons why people want to stick with him. I really do. He didn't get a fair shot with Matt Canada's offense. I completely understand that argument. But there's other things at play here that scare the living shit out of me when it comes to Kenny Pickett. He's got bad downfield vision. He's got bad pocket presence. He doesn't have his eyes in the right spot. He doesn't know when he's hot, when there's more defenders than there are blockers. He's got accuracy issues. He's terrible in the red zone. All these different things scare the living crap out of me. And if you keep him as your starter, you're risking having Kenny Pickett, this year's level Kenny Pickett, as your starter next year with a new offensive coordinator. And if that happens, the Steelers are going to waste another year of TJ Watt's prime, another year of Minkah Fitzpatrick's prime, another year of Cam Hayward's career. And we all know that the clock is ticking on Cam right now. Like, I'm just sick and tired of wasting these seasons on, a geriatric Big Ben, for example, or a rookie Kenny Pickett, or a Pickett this year that has been terrible, right? The only thing that Pickett really does at a high level at this point is that he doesn't turn the ball over. And listen, that's a good skill to have. The Steelers are 7-6 for a reason. The Steelers are 6-3 in games where they don't have an interception this year. The defense is great, all these different things. But I think it's going to take a little bit more than a game manager for the Steelers to get to Super Bowl caliber here. And I'm just not sure Kenny Pickett is going to be anything more than that in his NFL career. I hope I'm wrong. I'm rooting for the kid. I think he works hard, and he's a great kid and all these different things. But sometimes you just got to put your objective goggles on here.
You went wordy Sperry there. You had a lot to say. That could have been a 30-minute segment.
How long was that segment?
It was like 15.
That's not that much.
No, but I'm saying you could have made it 30.
I could have made it 30 for sure, man. Sam Howell reminds me a lot of Jalen Hurts, early Jalen Hurts. He's somebody that can push the ball down the field, great deep ball, good rusher of the football. I would love to have Sam Howell as the starting quarterback, especially if you can get him for a third-round pick. I think that's an excellent value for somebody that could be a franchise quarterback. And I think he runs Eric Bieniemy's system very well. Oh! We got a $50 super chat from King Yinzer, Anthony Fuller. Let's go. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. Let's go, Anthony, with a $50 super chat.
I also want to address Just Webb's World. This one came in during our segment. Just graduated grad school, Just Webb's World.
Hey, Just
That's
Webb's
awesome.
World. Let's go. Hey, we should take a shot for Just Webb's World.
We'll go get some shots.
We'll get some shots going for you, Just Webb's World.
Webb's World.
Webb's World. Webb's World. Webb's World. Congratulations, my friend. That's awesome to hear. Congratulations on graduating grad school, my friend. That's awesome, dude. That's absolutely
After I finished my bachelor's degree, I was like, fuck that. I'm not going any more school.
Yeah, I was kind of the same way, man. I'm not going to lie. But congratulations, Just Webb's World. That's great news, and we're definitely happy for you. So
I'll be right back.
Coming up here in just a second, we're going to be having the Steelers Talk live mailbag here. Use hashtag Steelers or Super Chat. Just like Just Webb's World did, or just like Anthony Fuller did, and get your question on the show. This is your choice. This is your chance, guys, to have your voice heard on the show. All right. If you got an opinion, if you've got a question, if you have an idea, if you have something, if you want to vent about how frustrated you are with this football team, this is your chance right now. Hashtag Steelers. But yeah, man, I'm really intrigued by the Sam Howell idea, especially if you bring in Eric Bieniemy. All right, because I think Sam Howell is very comfortable in Eric Bieniemy's scheme, in that shotgun system, full field progressions. I think that he's actually done a pretty darn good job there in Washington. Now, he needs to limit the turnovers, but I think that'll come when he has a defense that doesn't force him to get those throws into super tight windows. I mean, it's super, super hard to be a quarterback in this league when you're forced to throw the football when the defense knows that you're throwing it. And Sam Howell has actually done that this year to a pretty decent level. Obviously needs to get better. He's still developing, but I have confidence in Sam Howell that he's a legitimate starting quarterback in this league. And will he ever get on the same level as a Jalen Hurts? I don't know, but that's my player comp in terms of skill set. Then Justin Fields is like an animal all on his own, right? It's like he's like, it's hard to compare him to anything because he's faster than Lamar Jackson. He is. Like, he's probably the best rushing quarterback I've ever seen ever.
Shout out to Webb's World. Shout out to Mr. Fuller. Webb's World.
If this is Patron, I'm going to fucking kill you.
Congratulations on your Masters. Anthony Fuller, you're a GOAT as well. Thank you for your service.
Anthony Fuller, thank you for your
Cheers.
service. And Just Webb's World, congratulations. Oh, that lemon juice hit, dude.
Is that sour, John?
It's the extra sour lemon juice. I love it, man. Congratulations to Just Webb's World, and thank you for the $50 super chat, Anthony Fuller. Making a splash here. We got 125 people watching, and guess how many likes we got, Coop? 69. Nice.
Where's Tom?
Where's Tom? We got 69 likes. All right. You know what? I want to get to 80 likes here, though. I want to get to 80 likes before we get to this mailbag here. Keep getting those questions in there. This is your chance to be heard.
69 likes.
69 likes. Very nice.
Very nice. How much?
By the way, former Steelers talk host Tom Downey is in town
He's
here
in the
this
house.
week. Usually he's in Cincinnati. He's the Bengals host now.
Bengals and Cowboys.
What a traitor, man. He used to be the Steelers talk host. Now he's the Bengals host.
He's what you call an op.
He is somebody that has just completely betrayed you guys. Completely.
Just like Jeremy.
Just like Jeremy did, by the way.
Disgusting.
What a fraud, man. So these people just keep leaving. Guess what? I'm never leaving Steelers.
I'm not fucking leaving.
Steelers talk is my baby. I'm never leaving this place, man. All right, so we got the 76 likes. We need 4 more likes. Click that thumbs up icon, and we'll get into today's mailbag here. Let's go.
Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.
I love it, man. 77 likes. We need 3 more to get to the mailbag. Who's going to get us over the top? Come on.
We can go home if you want.
Yeah, we can just stay here and chill if that's what you guys want. But I think all the people that have put in questions are going to be pretty upset. We need 1 more like. We're at 79. Can we please get to 80? There we go. We got there. Thank you guys so much for clicking that thumbs up icon. Coop, are we ready to get into this mailbag? Do we have enough questions?
Oh, yeah, we got plenty.
All right. He says we got plenty of questions. Can't wait to see what you guys have to say and what questions you have for me here on the Steelers Talk mailbag. It is week 15 in the 2023 NFL season, and today on Steelers Talk, I'm going to be answering your questions on the black and gold coming to me from you, the fans. But before I get into these questions here, do me a favor. Click that subscribe button right now if you want to join the most interactive Steelers community here on YouTube, 100% free. We do these mailbags every single week so you guys can have your voices heard on the show. And then we also have weekly live shows and a weekly watch party for every single Steelers game where we try to keep things fresh. We keep you guys involved in the chat, and we have a lot of fun here on Steelers Talk. So if you want to learn more about the Steelers, you want to interact with your fellow Steelers fans, and you just want to have a great experience as a Steelers fan here on YouTube, you can click that subscribe button right now. It's 100% free to do so. And with that, I'll pause and open it up for questions here. We got a $50 super chat from King Yenzer Anthony Fuller. We are not worthy. And he says, Justin Fields trade. So this is definitely a hot topic here in Steelers Nation because I did a poll on this. I said, I gave a couple of options. Steelers fans, do you want to keep Kenny Pickett, draft somebody in the draft, sign a veteran in free agency, or trade for Justin Fields? And less than 20% wanted Justin Fields. Okay, so there's definitely a smaller portion of the fan base that wants Justin Fields. But honestly, man, if you're trying to win titles with the roster that you have right now, I feel like Justin Fields is the swing that not being scared and not living in your fears would end up being. Because Justin Fields, back in 2022, he was the most valuable rusher of the football according to points above replacement out of anybody in the National Football League just last season. Okay, he's an elite rusher of the football. He can be the most dynamic weapon offensively in this league if he just develops a little bit more in the passing game. If you pair him with a really good offensive coordinator and he hits with this defense here in Pittsburgh and George Pickens and Deontay Johnson and Jalen Warren and Mike Tomlin as the head coach, I think you're back in business and you're competing for Super Bowls again. Now, if you trade for him, right, it's going to cost you a second and probably a 4th round pick. And if he doesn't hit, then you're wasting another year or more of TJ Watt's career, Minkah Fitzpatrick's career. So it's definitely risky, but could it be worth the risk? I'll leave that up to you guys. Then we got the Pittsburgh Steelers fan 8 question here. He says, do you guys think we need to move on from Grady Brown's secondary coach? I really don't know. I think we need some more. Here's what I'll say. I think that he's done a really good job with Joey Porter Jr. this year. I think Patrick Peterson's gotten better as the season's gone on. Minkah Fitzpatrick has obviously done a great job under Grady. I really do think that Grady is fine, but I would like to get some better personnel in there, right? DeMonte KZ, super slow. He needs to be replaced. Keanu Neal is not fast either. You need a really fast safety to go along with Minkah Fitzpatrick back there in the secondary. I think you need to get a little bit younger in the cornerback position. Patrick Peterson has also looked slow at times this year. I think he's looked better in recent weeks. But Joey Porter Jr. is doing fine. I don't think you need to replace Grady. I think if there's a position coach I want to replace, it's going to be Pat Meyer, the offensive line coach. He has been terrible. Then we got one from Tony Cutlitz. Oh, my goodness, man. All this DeVito stuff. What are your thoughts on LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels? Do you think the Steelers should target him in the first round this year? So Jaden Daniels is super intriguing, man. Super good athlete, big arm. He did a really great job. He's the number 1 graded college quarterback in the NCAA this year. Of course, he won the Heisman as well. Congratulations to Jaden for that. But, on the limited amount of film that I've seen, the decision-making isn't all the way there yet. So it's like he's got the high-end skills and the talent that you look for, but how much is that worth in this year's draft class, right? Is that going to be top 5, top 10, or is that going to be more where the Steelers are going to be drafting closer to 20? So if he's available there and you haven't picked up a quarterback or traded for one at that point, I think you got to consider it, especially with Kenny Pickett and the struggles that he's had so far in his career. But it's definitely an interesting possibility. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Would you draft Jayden Daniels, Heisman Trophy winner, to replace Kenny Pickett in the 2024 season? Type yes or type no. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So when YouTube throws you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds, do me a favor, answer today's pinned question with a yes or no. Let me get to Steelers' dad here, Gold Club member. Says, I appreciate Tomlin and his contribution to the Steelers' legacy. I honestly think the best thing for the team is to move on from him. I feel we are wasting the many talents we currently have. So if Steelers dad, this is what I'll say. If you're worried about wasting talents, then getting a new head coach will essentially be doing that next year. Because if you get a new head coach, your chances of winning the Super Bowl drop to pretty much zero, because there's pretty much no first-year head coaches in the history of the National Football League that have won a Lombardi trophy in the first year with a franchise, all right? So if you're thinking you're going to replace Tomlin and you're going to have any shot at a Super Bowl next year, you can kiss that goodbye. And if you're asking T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward, Minkah Fitzpatrick if they want to waste another year of their primes on a new head coach, I think they would say no. I think they would want Tomlin back next year. So I think that if you're worried about wasting talents, I think you got to keep Mike Tomlin, and I think you got to try to get an offensive coordinator, and you got to get the quarterback right. If you do those two things with Mike Tomlin, with the roster currently in place right now, I think this team can compete for Super Bowls as soon as next year. So if you want to stop wasting talent here, I think the solution is keep Mike Tomlin. Now, before I get into the rest of the questions today on this week's mailbag, let's have a word from our sponsor at Factor Meals. This holiday season, you might be looking for nutritious, convenient meals to keep you energized on jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service, can help you fuel up fast for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, and ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle while tackling all of your holiday to-dos. If you're too busy with holiday plans to cook but want to make sure you're eating well, with Factor, skip the extra trip to the grocery store and all the shopping and the prepping and the cooking and all the cleaning up as well. We know how much we hate to do dishes, guys, while still getting the flavor and nutritional quality that you need. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes, so all you have to do is heat and enjoy. Super convenient. They sent a couple of meals to Coop and I's places. It's absolutely fantastic. Good tasting, healthy for you guys, really good stuff. So head on over to factormeals.com/SteelersChat50 and use code SteelersChat50 to get 50% off. Factor Meals, that's code SteelersChat50 at factormeals.com/SteelersChat50 to get 50% off this holiday season. Then we got one from GMF. Says the Jets are trading Zach Wilson in the offseason. Should Pittsburgh at least consider trading for him? Maybe a conditional 5th or Trubisky and a 5th. No. Zach Wilson blows. He stinks, man. I know that he's got great arm talent, man, but I mean, arm talent and, the ability to throw from multiple angles and arm strength and all these different things, it only takes you so far. And if you don't have vision, if you can't mentally process a defense, you're not going to be able to be a good quarterback in this league, plain and simply. And that's what Zach Wilson is at right now. And I definitely think his confidence has been shot with all of the bad play that he's had in the National Football League. He's not really allowed to play free like he did at BYU. And now, it just seems like he's stuck in a rut that he's probably never going to be able to dig himself out of. I think at the very least, or at the very most, he's a backup quarterback here in the National Football League. Let me get one from Sean here. He says, do you think Malik Willis could be an option at quarterback this year as a backup, as like a shot in the dark? Like if you're bringing back Kenny Pickett and say like a Jacoby Brissett in free agency and you want to take another shot in the dark on like a high upside kind of guy, sure, why not? Malik Willis apparently was vibing with Mike Tomlin during the pre-draft process. It seems like he could be available. So, I mean, it seems like a fit that could potentially be something, and he could be like a training camp star to watch out for. But at the end of the day, man, I just don't think Malik Willis, like Zach Wilson, has that mental processing and downfield vision aspect to his game that you need in an NFL starter, man. So At this point, I think Malik Willis as a starter in this league is looking pretty dim. Then we get to Wet Willie 96 here. He says, I heard San Francisco quarterbacks coach Brian Greasy, not Brzee, Greasy, should be in line to get the Steelers offensive coordinator job. Thoughts? I like it, man. I would be 100% okay with that. Greasy is a former quarterback in this league. He's somebody that's working in an organization right now that knows how to design an offense there in San Francisco, man. They're the best in the world at scheming things open for guys. So I would love it. I think Chris Forster, their run game coordinator and offensive line coach, might be a little bit of a better fit because I think Forster could come in and fix the offensive line immediately like he has there in San Francisco. But I'd be perfectly fine with Greasy as well. Who would you guys like to see as the next offensive coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Do you want Eric Bieniemy? Do you want Chris Forster? Do you want Darrell Bevell, the Miami Dolphins quarterbacks coach? Is it somebody else? Todd Haley, Antonio Brown, Big Ben? Who do you guys want as the next offensive coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Let me know down there in the comment section. Then we got one from Ben's Randomness here. He says, updated record prediction. I'm going 8-9. Tomlin's first losing season as head coach. And you know, Ben, I absolutely think that this is a possibility because you're dealing with a backup quarterback in Mitch Trubisky who was absolutely atrocious last week. And if he plays the way that he did last week for the rest of the season and you don't get Kenny Pickett back, could absolutely see 8-9. I could even see 7-10. Now, the big questions are, will you get Kenny Pickett back? And can Mike Tomlin work some of his magic here to get to 9-8 just like he did last season? And honestly, right now, I just have this weird feeling that Tomlin's going to get this team to 9-8. That's just me. Maybe it's just, being a prisoner of the moment, seeing everything that's happened in the past. But I just feel like Tomlin's going to get this team to 9-8 some way, somehow. Then we got one from Eric Pollitt here. Says, need a new offensive line, trade for a quarterback. So obviously you need new offensive linemen, but I think it's certain spots, right? I think you like the guards. I think you like Sayamalo and you like Daniels. Both of those guys are having good, especially second halves of the 2023 season. I think you like Broderick Jones. He's going to be starting at one of the tackle spots. But going into the offseason, I think you could definitely look at replacing Mason Cole as the center, and then you have to replace probably Dan Moore Jr. at one of the starting tackle spots. So it'll be interesting to see if they move Broderick Jones over to the left side or if they keep him over on the right side and draft another left tackle, maybe in the first round this year. So that'll be interesting to see here. Offensive line still improving, but I definitely think that it's better. It's been better this year than it has been in recent years. Then we got one from Romantic Steelers. Says, what % chance do you give Tomlin to still be the head coach for the Steelers next season? I'm going to go 97%, man. Like I'm almost 100% sure. You can never say never. But Art Rooney is not going to move off of a head coach this quickly, especially with the offensive coordinator being fired and the quarterback getting injured and all these different things. So even if they lose out, unless it's like super, super disastrous and the players are clamoring for a change at head coach, I just don't see Art Rooney getting rid of Tomlin. And as for the recent rumors about trading Tomlin elsewhere, I don't think it's really Rooney's style to trade Mike Tomlin to another organization. So I think Tomlin's going to get at least one more year here in Pittsburgh. And, if things start to crumble again next year, I think you could probably start with the talk about firing Mike Tomlin. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. What is the % chance that Mike Tomlin is still the head coach in 2024 on a scale of 0 to 100? Let me know your answer down there in the comments. For me, I'm going to give it a 97. That'll be it for this week's mailbag. My fellow Yinzers, thank you so much to all the real ones that made it to the end of today's show. If you want to make sure that you get your voice heard on the show in future mailbag episodes, you can click that subscribe button and join us for the Steelers Talk watch parties on Wednesdays.
2 Don.
2 Don, 1 to go.
Going Don. Little Slush says 100%. Dude, if they go 0-4, there's at least a chance Tomlin gets fired. They go 0-4, there's a chance.
They go 0-4 with Kenny Pickett back or no? Not Kenny Pickett back.
Pickett's back for 3 of them.
Yeah, if Pickett's playing in 3 of those games and they lose all 3.
I think he's gone.
I don't know if he's gone. I'd give it a 50-50 shot.
They will talk about it at least.
But here's the thing, man. Like, we were talking about this last year. Like, the Steelers got off to one of the worst starts in franchise history, And then all of a sudden, like in the second half of the season, they ripped off like 7 of 8 games for victories, and they ended up getting to 9-8.
True.
Like everyone was talking about the Tomlin shit last year.
I'll also say this. All of the games or most of the games at least, that the Steelers have won this year, they've been grinded out games where the Steelers probably shouldn't have won the ball game. So I think there's the Steelers. And I'm saying that in a positive light because I think this team can find ways to win even when they don't play well.
Well, I mean, that's just been a trademark of a Mike Tomlin coach team.
Yeah,
exactly. Is that they're tough, man. Like, they're resilient. Now, obviously, they weren't resilient last week when they were coming off a loss against the Cardinals, but Mitch Trubisky, coming off a short week, has barely gotten any reps all season. Just was not good, plain and simply. If you guys actually want to check out my film breakdown of Mitch Trubisky's play last Thursday, I have a full breakdown, all 22 film breakdown of some of the biggest plays from that game. If you guys want to see just how bad Mitch Trubisky was, go follow me on Twitter and check that thread out. I got probably about 8 to 10 plays breaking down Mitch Trubisky's complete ineptitude as a quarterback. So if you want to learn more about football, you want to see Mitch Trubisky and how terrible he was last week.
Trubisky just needs to go to freaking NFL Europe.
It's not good, man. Mitch Trubisky was not good last week. I'm not confident in it, but I'm hoping that the full week of work instead of the short week means that he'll play better somehow this week. But
Byron says Bo Nix. No,
Bo Nix. No Bo Nix.
Bo Nix stinks.
Check down Charlie Bo Nix himself, man. He cannot.
Dude, like 30% of Bo Nix passes are behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, man. Like the Oregon runs so many screens, it's just not even funny, man. So I'm not a big fan of Bo Nix as an NFL prospect. I'm not a big fan of J.J. McCarthy as an NFL prospect. I think both of those guys are.
Just wait one more year and draft my boy Quinn.
I mean, Bo Nix is like a third-round prospect in my opinion.
Draft Quinn Ewers in 25.
I mean, if you stick with Kenny Pickett and he stinks again next year, I mean, you might be thinking Quinn Ewers.
Go.
I know Coop would be a big fan of that. Hook 'em horns, baby. All right, so let me know down there in the comment section. Man, this is. I'm so nervous.
It's been a tough week in Yin's land.
It's been a tough week, and the anticipation of this week's game is starting to mount.
Oh yeah.
If you lose this week, that's 3 in a row. And here are the stakes, by the way. For if you win this week, your playoff chances increase.
Don't tell them.
Oh, that's right. It's coming up on the next.
Don't tell them.
It's coming up on the
wait.
next segment. I almost gave it away, man. I almost gave it away. All right, so here we go, guys.
We'll say this. If you win, it's very much good. If you lose, it's very much bad.
Yeah, that's definitely the case, man. All right, everybody, we're going to get into this last segment here. Thank you to all 106 of you guys that are currently watching. If you haven't clicked that thumbs up icon yet, do it now. Help us get to 100 likes.
You got the pan?
I've got the pan right here.
All right, making sure.
By the way, Tom Downey, the traitor, told me earlier today there's no way that Steelers Talk can get to 100 likes today.
No way. Tom Downey's a freaking fraud.
Yeah, so, Tom, it's good to see you again, pal.
We love you.
We got to get to 100 likes to stuff it in Tom's face today, guys. So if you want to stick it to the former host of Steelers Talk today, who is currently the Bengals host, what a freaking fraud.
Look, we're going to do this segment.
Click that thumbs up icon. Let's get to 100.
We're going to do this segment. If we don't get to 100 likes, I will literally cut it off midstream. Mid-segment. You guys will just go poof.
We're 3 likes away. Help us stick it to Tom Downey by clicking that thumbs up icon right now.
Steelers. Here we go.
All right, everybody. Let's get into this last segment here. It's going to be Steelers playoff path. Going to break down the remaining schedule, what the Steelers need to do to make the playoffs here in 2023. Cooper, are we ready to get things going?
We are ready, my friend.
All right, let's get into this last segment here. Steelers playoff path updated for you guys live here on Steelers Talk. Today's Steelers Talk video is sponsored by Hexclad. Go to hexclad.com/chatsports for 10% off some really premium cookware today. Now, on today's edition of Steelers Talk, we're going to be discussing the updated playoff path for the Steelers here throughout the final 4 weeks of the 2023 season. You got 4 games left. You're currently sitting in the AFC playoff picture. Will the Steelers, with Mitch Trubisky as their quarterback, stick in the AFC playoff picture? We're going to be discussing that on today's show, but before we get into everything today, do me a favor, kick off today's show by clicking that thumbs up icon if you want Pittsburgh to get in this year's playoffs. So now let's start with the AFC playoff picture here, where the Pittsburgh Steelers currently rank number 6 in the AFC right now, but there's definitely a lot of teams in there that are in the hunt, right? So there's currently 6 teams at 7-6. All right, the Steelers are the cream of the crop there at number 6 overall, but you still got the Colts, who you're playing this week. You got the Texans. You've got the Broncos. You've got the Bengals, and of course you got the Buffalo Bills, who just beat the Kansas City Chiefs, all sitting at 7-6. All right, so it's definitely going to be a tough road for the Pittsburgh Steelers to make it to the playoffs, and the New York Times agrees with that. Right now, the New York Times has the percentage for the Pittsburgh Steelers to make the playoffs at the lowest mark in the AFC North. That's lower than the Cincinnati Bengals, and they got Jake freaking Browning as their quarterback, all right? So after losing against the Cardinals and against the Patriots at home over the last 2 weeks, the New York Times really doesn't believe in the Pittsburgh Steelers, only giving them a 1-in-4 shot to make the playoffs. Now, the remaining schedule for the Pittsburgh Steelers looks like this. You got a road game against the Colts this week. That's going to be massive. You got a home game against the Bengals in Week 16. I think that game is also going to be a huge one. If you can win those 2 games, I think you're in pretty darn good shape. But then you also got the Seahawks and the Ravens on the road to finish the season. If you need to win both of those games to make the playoffs, I think that's going to be one tough task for Mike Tomlin's bunch here. So over these next 2 weeks, I definitely think the 7-6 Steelers need to kick it in gear, and they need to start winning football games again. And it really is this simple, guys. You got 4 games left. If you win 2 of them, you get to 9 wins, and you at least put yourself in position to win some tiebreakers and get into that 6th or 7th spot in the AFC playoff picture. However, if you win 3 out of these last 4 games, you get to 10-7, and if you can get to double-digit wins on the season, that means you're likely going to be a playoff team this year. So winning 3 out of these last 4 with not having Kenny Pickett for who knows how long, it's probably going to be difficult for the Steelers, but let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. What will the Pittsburgh Steelers' final record be here in 2023? Let me know down there in the comments section. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show, so coming up here in just a second, we're going to be going over our sponsor read. When we go over our sponsor read here, do me a favor and go down, find that pinned comment at the top of the comment section, and let me know what you think the Steelers' record will be after Week 18. And with that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Hexclad. Are you guys ready to rock your holiday cooking game this season? Look no further than Hexclad, the revolutionary cookware brand that's changing the way we cook during the most wonderful time of the year. Hexclad's innovative hybrid design combines the best of both worlds, giving you the ease of nonstick, the durability of cast iron, and the versatility of stainless steel. This means you can confidently crush your holiday feast without spending the rest of the week on dishes, and they make for fantastic gifts for the home chef in your life. To spread holiday cheer, Hexclad is giving our listeners 10% off your order with our exclusive link. Just go to hexclad.com/chatsports. Support our show and check them out at hexclad.com/chatsports for some seriously killer cookware. What's great about Hexclad is that all of their products have a lifetime warranty. These are literally the last set of pots and pans you will ever have to buy. So for all my cooks out there, Hexclad has to be at the top of your holiday wish list this year. And let me tell you guys, this is the only pan that I use. Cassie and I, we pan sear steak and chicken on this thing, 2-3 times, sometimes 4 or 5 times a week. And my favorite thing about it, it never scratches and it's super easy to clean. So I can bring it into work and it looks like it came right out of the box every single time. This holiday season, give you or a loved one a gift that will actually last forever and change your cooking game for life. For a limited time only, our listeners get 10% off your order at hexclad.com/chatsports. Support our show and check them out at hexclad.com/chatsports. Don't let your cookware hold you back this holiday season. Happy cooking and happy holidays. So now looking ahead to this Saturday matchup here against the Indianapolis Colts, and I really think that this one's going to be crucial for the Steelers to end up making the playoffs here in 2023. Not only does the winner of this football game keep their spot in the AFC playoff picture heading into Week 16, but also they get a crucial tiebreaker if these two teams end up being tied at the end of the regular season. If you want to see my full breakdown, keys to victory, score prediction, all those different things, we have a preview for this game out there on the channel right now. I'm going to put the link in the comments and description of today's video so you guys can get yourselves ready for Saturday once you're done watching today's video. So the playoff odds here for the Pittsburgh Steelers are definitely dire. If you can get a win, okay, remember, the Steelers are currently sitting at 25% according to the New York Times. Well, the New York Times says that if you beat the Colts this week, your chances increase to almost a 50-50 shot, just under 50% at 47 there. But if you lose, your chances go down significantly, under 10% at just 7%. So if you lose this game, the season is essentially over. However, if you win, not only are you still in the AFC playoff picture, not only are you 1 week closer to getting Kenny Pickett back, but also you got about a 50-50 shot of making the NFL playoffs, and you're still very much alive. So this week is definitely a bona fide must-win game. I know last week we were talking about how the Patriots game felt like a must-win game. This one is actually a must-win game because if you don't come away with a win, your playoff chances are pretty much dead, and you don't want that if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So there's 4 things here that I think the Steelers need to do if they want to end up making the postseason. The first one is Trubisky's got to get his shit together here, man. Plain and simple. He needs to step it the fuck up because last week it was just not good enough, man. 60% completion percentage throughout this season so far. That is absolute dog water, especially considering the fact that he's barely throwing it 5 yards past the line of scrimmage in terms of air yards on every single pass attempt. All right, his yards per game, also terrible at 115.8. Not good whatsoever. And then also he has 3 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. But keep in mind, there was an interception that was brought back against the Patriots, and there was also another one that was dropped by the Patriots last week. So that's more really like 5 interceptions on the season for Mitch. Needs to play better over the course of the next few weeks while Kenny Pickett is still out. As long as Trubisky is in the lineup, he needs to play better if the Steelers want to make the playoffs, plain and simply. Number 2 on my list here, the defense has to do its thing. Now, the defense has been turning the ball over at a very high clip all season long, and they need to continue to do so. Right now, the Steelers' defensive ranks are pretty good in some categories, and then, they're lower in other categories, all right? So something that surprised me a little bit is that they're only about league average in sacks. They're below average in yards per game, and they're below average in third down defense. But when it comes to the points per game, top 10. Red zone defense, top 10. They're keeping teams out of the end zone, and then also in turnovers, they're top 10. Another thing with the Steelers defense is that they have a lot of turnovers in very timely moments in the red zone. In the second half, they're getting very timely turnovers, and they're scoring on turnovers as well so far this year. So that's really the bread and butter of the Steelers team is that they stop teams in the red zone and they turn the ball over, and they need to continue to do that. I definitely think that the yards per game needs to continue to go down as the season wears on. And then, number 3 on my list here is I think it's really important that you get Kenny Pickett back. Now, whether that's by the Baltimore game, whether that's by the Seattle Seahawks game, whatever the case may be, I think you really want Kenny Pickett in there over Mitch Trubisky because at least you can trust Kenny to protect the football. Right now, if there's one thing that Kenny Pickett has actually done well for the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's protect the football. Right now, just 1.9% of his throws have been intercepted. That's 4th among NFL starting quarterbacks with at least 75 pass attempts this season. That's a really, really good number for a guy like Kenny Pickett who has struggled to move the football, has struggled to score in the red zone, that's had some really, really poor play on tape this year. But if you can say anything about him is that he manages the game and he doesn't turn the ball over. So getting him back, allowing the defense to work and allowing the run game to do its thing without having to worry about turnovers could be paramount, especially when you're going up against a really good team like the Ravens on the road in the season finale. Then finally here, I think that you got to get Tomlin to work his magic here a little bit. I mean, you got your backup quarterback in there. Everything seems dim. You've just lost to the Cardinals and the Colts respectively. There's players calling out the culture in the locker room at this point, saying guys feel entitled, saying guys are not doing the right things in the locker room, taking teams for granted, all these different things. But you know what? Mike Tomlin just seems to find a way to get these teams to 9-8, some way, somehow they always find a way to get to at least 500. And that's a testament to Mike Tomlin's character as a coach. That's a testament to his ability to get the most out of his teams. And something still tells me here, because remember last year, the Steelers were dead in the water. And then in the second half of the year, complete resurgence, and they come out and they somehow get to 9-8 with a complete tear in the second half of the season. So, I think Mike Tomlin has shown in the past when everything seems dire and everything seems dim and everything seems like there's holes in the boat and the water is rushing in. Mike Tomlin just seems to have a way with getting these teams to come back, to face adversity, and get this team to 9-8. So I think if anyone gets them to 9-8, it's going to be Mike Tomlin. Is it possible that they don't get there? Absolutely. This team is definitely sinking right now. But if there's anybody that can save this ship, I believe that man is Mike Tomlin. Now let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Will the streak end after 16 seasons for Mike Tomlin here in Pittsburgh? Will this year be Mike Tomlin's first losing season as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers here in year 17? Type yes or type no. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. That'll be it for today's show, Steelers fans. Thank you so much for sticking with me here to the very end. Make sure you click that subscribe button. We're going to be right here for our watch party Saturday afternoon. We got the biggest Steelers watch parties on YouTube here. It's 100% free to join our family here. Help us get to 40,000 subscribers by clicking that subscribe button right now. All right, Coop, last one in the bag there. So did you say 8 and 9 earlier? Yeah, so you would obviously answer yes to this question.
Yeah, I would say yes. It's just going to be a hard road.
But here's my question. Which game do you think they win?
I think they'll win at home against the Bengals. I think that's the game they'll end up winning.
If Kenny Pickett comes back.
For that game?
No, if Kenny Pickett comes back for the Ravens game, do you think there's any shot they win that? Lamar Jackson has always stunk against the Steelers defense. And if you get Kenny Pickett in there, who's probably not going to throw an interception.
I think it's possible they win that game. I don't know, man. I think it all depends on what the stakes are.
I just have this weird feeling that if the season is on the line in Baltimore, the Steelers are going to find a way to win.
It's very possible that happens.
Like, from a pure on-paper perspective, of course the Steelers should lose that game.
It's always F the Ravens and F the Bengals.
And F the Browns.
And the Browns.
The Browns just lost Delpit, too, by the way. Jedrick Wills.
And Okoronkwo.
And Okoronkwo, man.
They're dropping like flies.
They're dropping like flies in Cleveland right now.
It's like Titanic over there.
It is like Titanic.
All right.
Unfortunately, they're probably going to be a playoff team sitting at 8 and 5. But
Etheria says, our newest Gold Club member, if Pickett is back, we will beat Ravens.
I hope that's right. I hope that's right. But here's the thing, man. People are saying, like, oh, I don't want the Steelers to make the playoffs. I couldn't disagree more.
If you are lying to yourself if you say that. You want your own team to make the playoffs. I've been there before where I wanted one of my teams to lose, and it sucks, okay? You don't want to lose on purpose.
But, like, here's also the thing. If Mike Tomlin can get this team with the quarterback play that he has had this year.
Imagine if they had average quarterback
with
play.
An interim offensive coordinator. Like, if he gets this team to the playoffs and really a loaded AFC, right? The Broncos are streaking. The Bills are streaking. Houston is a really good football team if they can get C.J. Stroud back. There's a lot of good teams in the AFC this year, man. And if the Steelers can somehow make the playoffs with this offense, that would be one hell of an accomplishment for Mike Tomlin. That would be an accomplishment.
That would be awesome.
And you know what else that would say, Coop? If the Steelers make the playoffs with the offensive coordinator, with the offense that we have, with the quarterback play that we've had, and we still made the playoffs, that tells me that we are an offensive coordinator and a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contender. Because if we're playoff contenders with this offense,
extend Mike Tomlin, baby.
Let's not go too far here now, but I definitely think that Mike Tomlin has what it takes to still win a Super Bowl in this league. Now, I know after these last 2 weeks, definitely doesn't seem that way, but yeah, I just want to zoom out, okay? I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment here. I want to zoom out, and I want to see all the good stuff that Mike Tomlin has done here as well. I think the good has definitely outweighed the bad. I don't think it's even close. So I'm not defending the guy for now. Right now, this team is reeling. He needs to get this team figured out. But if he does that, the guy deserves credit for it.
No doubt.
If he gets this team to the playoffs, he deserves credit for it, plain and simply. All right, does he deserve blame for these last 2 losses? 100%. All right, it's not like you can. Let's have a little bit of nuance here. All right, let's give the guy credit when he deserves it, and let's give the guy blame when he deserves it. I have no problem with doing that, but I just don't think right now that moving off of this guy is a good decision for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right, Spare Dog.
Give me another year, though. Like, if the Steelers stink next year, maybe we can have that discussion. But for now, especially if you make the playoffs, you're not getting rid of Mike Tomlin.
I have to go to the bathroom, so it's time for us to sign off.
All right, that's going to be it for us today, guys. Thank you so much to all the real ones.
We'll see you Saturday.
We'll see you guys Saturday. Saturday football here. It's going to be 4:30 p.m. kick, so we're going to be going live at 3:30 p.m.
3:30 Eastern.
3:30 Eastern. Thank you to everybody that stuck with us till the end here. And until next time, guys,